What's going on, y'all? Okay. What is going on? We are at day 14. And in day 14, we're going to talk a little bit about are you a grumpy adult? Are you a grumpy adult? I am making fun, but I think this is a really important topic. I think that as adults, we don't play enough. Do you find yourself like not doing anything fun? And I started to think about why don't adults play enough? Why don't we play anymore? It's interesting because our first formative years, that play was an integral part of our lives. We learned social skills through play. We learned how to interact with each other. We learned to tap into our imagination, our curiosity. We learned to explore the world through play. So it's interesting as adults now, a lot of us just don't play anymore. A lot of us don't necessarily have a sense of humor. A lot of us, let me just say it one more time. A lot of us don't have a sense of humor the way that we used to. Especially nowadays that so many people get offended by so many things. And so sometimes you don't even know how to have fun or appropriate humor with other people. And I think about why adults don't play anymore. And I think a lot of it has to do with some adults, they don't necessarily want to be different. They don't want to stand out. What's going on, Lily? They're pretty much still searching for approval from a lot of their peer groups. And if you think about it, that's like what we did in high school. What we did in college when we were first trying to figure out who we are. But I think as adults now, we've become so darn serious, that we spend our time talking about promotions at the dinner party versus talking about all the amazing, fun and playful experiences that we've had. So, talking about, your 401ks and all this other stuff versus play, exploration. And I don't think it's that we forgot how to play, because it was such an integral part of our understanding of the world and how we sort of relate to the world. I think we've just been programmed by society to believe that play is childish and inappropriate, and people will judge you for it, right? When you're just letting loose. I was watching Married at First Sight, season 13. Shout out to that crew. It was actually a pretty good season. And one of the couples, her name is Bao, and there was a child innocence with her whenever she got excited about things. You remember as a kid, we used to get really giddy and just really excited about life. And the guy that she was married to didn't find that attractive. He thought she was too childish. And can you imagine somebody who just kind of crushes your joy in that way? Because it was an integral part of who she was and how she sort of expressed herself. And so I feel like a lot of us might be experiencing that, where we might be getting judged by how we play. And, you ever hear, oh, you play too much, comments like that. And so sometimes one of the first assignments that I give my clients is I tell them to go play more. And the reason why this is important, I got to understand, play is an antidote to depression and anxiety. And, when you're feeling unhappy, when you're not feeling joy, play is sort of the elixir to all of those things. Play is what sparks up the joy again. It helps you to reconnect. And so one of the assignments I give my clients is I tell them to go play more, because usually a lot of folks realize that they have a lot of inner child stuff that they have to heal. But a big part of inner child work is play. So if you think about, as a child exploring the world, we did it through curiosity and we did it through our imagination. I feel like as we get to be adults, we lose our ability to connect to our imagination. And if you think about manifestation, visualization, without imagination, there is none of that. So that's why it makes it so hard for people to connect on that deeper level. But I tell them to go ride a bike, get out of the house, draw something, play something, do something other than what it is that you're doing, because I think we get so caught up with like, oh, I have these morning routines, I gotta go to work, I gotta do my nighttime routine, but we don't incorporate play into our lives. And we need that, because truth be told, play allows us to tap into our serotonin. Play allows us to connect with joy. So if you think about some of the things that you used to enjoy doing back as a child, and you think about like, oh man, especially when you go back to it, you're like, why haven't I done this? This used to be so fun. This used to be something that brought me so much happiness. And so I feel like the more that we do this on a regular basis, the more we can bring more balance into ourselves, the more that we can actually learn more about who we are, and the more that we play with our inner child, because part of some of the issues that people are dealing with is that disconnection to the inner child, which basically means you have to maintain a relationship with it. And it's not just about the tenderness, about like, calming your nervous system down, showing your inner child love, but it's also showing your inner child that you know how to play. And through that play, you can remain in that joyful state. A lot of people are like, I don't know how to tap into my joy. The easiest way to begin tapping into your joy is through play. You will reconnect with it once you do that more often, because if you start to also view the world through a child's eye, the world becomes one big magical place to explore and to have adventures with. I think a lot of people tend to see the world as like a big scary place. And sure, there are, terrible things, quote unquote, terrible things happening out there. But this play reminds you that it's not all doom and gloom. And I feel like when you approach your world in general through the eyes of a child, through that like wonder, the curiosity, that's really what we need more as adults. To be curious, to, take our first step into that relationship, to be curious, to, explore what it means to tap into a different industry, different career, to, maybe move out of your hometown. Like, without that wonder and curiosity, everything else is going to feel so frightening. You know what I'm saying? And so it just reminds us to do that, because even one of the things I tell my clients is like, get curious about life. Get curious about your feelings, because sometimes we don't want to feel things, we don't want to deal with things. So get curious and be like, like what's going on there? And that's really like a childlike state. Children are so curious about everything, and they're so fascinated by everything. And we've lost the fascination for life. One of the things I love about my partner is her play. I mean, and sometimes, I have a sense of humor, but I can be, too serious myself. And so we could be working, and then next thing you know, she's jumping up and doing something silly, chasing me, or getting up to do a 5-minute dance session. Play doesn't have to be something that you do for hours at a time, but like, how could you break up your day through play, where you pause and bring your energy levels back up, bring your serotonin back up, and begin to enjoy and experience life. And so life is so much more fun when you can just make fun of yourself, when you can be silly, be playful. And that's what I really appreciate about my partner, because she's more playful than I am, and she's more adventurous than I am. And so it allows me to sort of come out of my own personal shell. And so when I meet with my clients, they don't always believe that when I say play is a powerful antidote to depression and anxiety. They really don't believe that to be the case. Especially if you've been feeling like that for so long, you really don't know how else you can feel, because you haven't maybe tapped into that in such a long time. But now if you think about it, okay, I'm depressed about maybe my life isn't going a certain way, or I'm anxious about something that might be coming up or not coming up. What does play do? It's such a positive distraction for you, right? It allows you to, again, elevate your mood, boost your serotonin, and opens up pathways to creativity. So now that you're in creator mode versus inactive, I'm sad, I'm depressed, what does that creator mode do? What does that creativity do? It allows you to transmute and alchemize your pain. This is why it's so powerful, right? So if I'm feeling depressed, I can go and create something and transmute the low vibratory energy that was keeping me stuck to high vibratory joy. And I don't know if you ever read The Map of Consciousness by David E. Hawkins. I've been reading that book, And joy is like, I don't remember what number it is, but it's pretty up there. It's like, I think 450 on the map of consciousness, which is like 1,000. Anything below 200 about is very low vibratory feelings and consciousness. So anger, depression, shame is like at the bottom at number 50. So if you start to do some of these things, that helps you take yourself out of that mode, that sort of stuck funk that you're in, even if it's just a few minutes a day, right? And because what happens, if you think of compound interest, you do some of these things a few minutes a day, eventually in 30 days, like you won't even be able to recognize yourself after 30 days. So play really helps you to get out of the stuckness, to help you get out of inaction, because now you're taking action. I remember I meet with this intuitive guide, and one of the things that she said, I used to come in there like, oh, hum, and she'd be like, Francis, and she's so light and so just, I mean, her energy is just all light and love, and she would just say things like, stop taking yourself so seriously, like life is not supposed to be this serious, and you just need to loosen up. And she was like, you need to play more, you need to go out and do all these other things versus waking up dreading certain things, right? And so and she just reminds me to, regardless of what I do throughout the day, set my intentions to be playful, to just smile, to just, tap into my joy, because we really do have the ability to tap into our joy at any given moment. We just have to make the decision to do it, and we just have to believe that over time that it's really going to shift everything for you. And I think what happens is people don't wait enough in that sort of discomfort state, which I talk about a lot, because when you don't sit in that discomfort long enough to see change occur, you automatically begin to believe that change is not possible. But if you just hold steadfast for just a little while longer, you will reap the benefits of all this. And so, play comes in so many different forms. The way that I like to play spades, card games, sports, acting, being silly, and all those things. So find what play means to you and how you like to play, and do more of it. I like being silly with my friends and family and cracking stupid jokes. Do whatever lights you up, but most of all, be super flexible and open and willing to laugh at yourself and be laughed at. I feel like we're at a place where like people just can't make a joke these days, right? Without offending somebody, without somebody feeling a certain way. So find a way to laugh again. Play with your friends, play with your pets, play with your spouse, play with your family, crack jokes, wear a silly outfit, take a picture of yourself, and just be silly. Do a dance and allow play to relax you so that you can live a life filled with a lot more ease, less resistance, and tension. And I'm going to leave y'all with a quote by George Bernard Shaw that says, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. Because when you tap into that play, it keeps you youthful. You ever see, some of the elderly folks, they're still cracking jokes, they're still dancing, they're still playing, right? And then you see some other, elderly adults, and they're a bit miserable, right? And so it's because they just forgot to play. They forgot to laugh at themselves. So I hope this gives you a little encouragement. The weekend is not over yet. So you still have some time. Ride a bike, get on a swing, do something, okay? All right, I'll see y'all next time. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 15. And yeah, all right. Take care.